What is a creepy, unexplained childhood experience that you had?
Okay. So when I was 16, I lived with my dad. It was just the two of us. Long story short, my parents had gotten divorced. Everyone had moved out except for me. My dad worked a lot and he was out of town a lot, so I was home alone a lot. I was 16, so I was in high school. I also worked. I would get out of school at 2. I would have to be at work at 5. I would always come home, take a nap, get up in time to get ready for work. This was a routine that I was really set in. I never really missed a beat, ever. One time I didn't wake up until 7. So I was really frantic. I got to work. I'm apologizing. Don't know what happened. So sorry. My manager is genuinely concerned about me, asking if I'm safe, asking if I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, why? She said that when she had called me, a man had answered and said, Jen doesn't live here anymore. She doesn't know who it was, and he hung up. When I checked my call log, I saw that I had a call from work received. I have no idea who that could have been, what that could have been. That was years ago, and I still think about that.
What is a creepy, unexplained childhood experience that you had?
The night my father died, my mother went to sleep by his bedside while me and my little sister went to spend the night over at an aunt's house. As my little sister and I were sleeping, she literally gets up and starts rocking herself back and forth like this. Y'all, I was 9 and I was freaking out. So I legit just tapped her on her shoulder. She literally wakes up like, and then I got scared because I thought I hurt her somehow. As I'm trying to calm her down so I don't get in trouble, she gets out of the bed and goes to the window in the room and starts staring at the moon and cries. So I walk over to the window, consoling her and asking her what's wrong, and all she can say is, "Goodbye, Dad. Goodbye, Dad. I love you, Dad." I was super confused because as far as I knew, my dad was okay. So I walked her back to bed and we both fell asleep. The next morning, she just kept pointing to the moon and talking to my dad, which was very irritating. At home, I told Mom and I asked her to please calm her down, and she told me Dad died.
What is a creepy, unexplained childhood experience that you had?
Before my mom and dad got divorced when I was 8, we lived here. When I was 6 years old, my mom had a dog named Suka, a Siberian Husky, and woke up out of a dead sleep one night, and Suka was standing in my doorway staring at me. And I called her to me, and she started walking towards me very slow, and it scared me. So I stood up on my bed up against the wall, and I called her name again, and she looked at me and said, "If you scream, I will kill you." So, of course, I screamed, and as this thing's lunging on my bed, my dad runs in, flips on the light, and this thing disappears. And a few seconds later, right behind him walks in Suka and sits down. And I have no way to explain it. And a lot of other things happened in that house too, besides that.
What is a creepy, unexplained childhood experience that you had?
Not so much creepy as it is just remarkably bizarre, and it never happened again. I've tried explaining it to people and only one other person kind of got it. So when I was a kid, I was a night owl. I would do anything I could to just not be asleep. So one night, I just decided to stand up on my bed in kind of like a T-pose, like this. Mind you, this was probably at like 10 p.m. It was as dark as the inside of a cow outside. So I was just standing on my bed, not doing anything, and then I blinked, and it was daytime. The sun was up, birds were chirping, light coming through the window, and I was like, am I sleeping? My arms were not sore. I never went to sleep. They're like, oh, maybe you just don't remember going to sleep. No, I never went to sleep. Everything just felt so fucking bizarre. Nothing felt quite the same, you know. I tried talking to my mom, and she was like, why are you acting so weird? And I'm like, I don't know. I tried looking this up on the internet, and I've never found an answer.
What is a creepy, unexplained childhood experience that you had?
Oh boy.
Many people don't know this, but I am Latina. When I was 13 years old, my mom and I went to Mexico to visit my grandma because she was really sick. But my mom and I ended up having a really bad argument, which caused me to slam the door to my room and go to sleep angry. In the middle of the night, I heard someone open the door to my room, sit on the edge of my bed. I even felt the bed sink and everything. I thought it was my mom to come in to apologize, but I should have known better because she's fucking toxic. She don't do that. I look over and I see the silhouette of a man, and I thought it was one of my uncles. So I was like, hey, tío, ¿qué pasó? The man turns to face me, and his face is decomposed. He leans over and gets extremely fucking close to me, and sniffs me, and in a really groggy voice says, I freaked out so bad I screamed. My mom and my grandma ran to my room, and they ended up sleeping with me all night. Fast forward 10 years, I shared this story at a bonfire. My oldest cousin had the same experience in the same room. Oh, fuck. part 2. Definitely more to the story. So the next morning after the whole dead man situation, I'm telling you, I was so like, that I couldn't even like talk and tell my mom and my grandma what had happened to me. But the next morning, my grandma had woken up extremely early to make breakfast for my uncles that work on our ranch. And I follow her into the kitchen and she says, Mija, ¿qué pasó? What happened? So as I tell her my story, she kind of stops rolling the dough for the tortillas. And she just looks at me and she says, you are very open to those around you. No fucking shit, Grandma. Duh. So she told me I had to close it. How do you do that? But I have literally had experiences my whole life. If you want more, just comment and I will let you know all of them. Including that one time I thought I was possessed.
What is a creepy, unexplained...
Is y'all ready? So I was young and a lot of experiences used to happen at this house or these apartments. And I had to be like 10 at the time. And at the time, me and my little sister shared a room and we had slept on bunk beds. And I'm laying on a bunk bed with my head facing the door. So the door is like where this door is. Imagine my bed right there where the closet is. Mind you, it's a bunk bed and I'm on the top bunk. And it didn't feel weird or nothing. It didn't feel weird. But all of a sudden, the door opens, like twists opens, like opens. And I'm looking at it and I thought I seen something blue walk to the bottom bunk. Now I have a baby brother. At the time, he had to be like, I don't even know, he was young, like a baby. And he always wore like this little blue sleeper, so I assumed that it was him. But it walks back out the door and closed the door. So I'm like, okay, but why they walking here and not say nothing? So I go back to normal, just laying down, back in the bed on my phone. Next thing you know, the door opens again, but this time it just opens and then closes. And at this point, I'm scared because I can hear them in there playing, my little sister and my little brother. Woo, let me get y'all part 2, because I knew y'all was finna ask. I don't even know why. But no, once I seen the door open, I had like hurried up and got out the room. Like after that, it was like this real scary feeling. Like I was scared after I seen the door open a second time. Cause like I said, like when I had heard the door, when I seen the door open, cause this time I watched it open, like I can hear my sister and my baby brother in the living room running around. And I remember like I had came out the room and I was like, did y'all come here and like play on the door, like open the door? And it was like, no. But it always used to be little things that happened in the house. Like, sometimes I'd be in the living room and I'd just be feeling, like, this real scary vibe. Somebody in the comments was like, you sure it wasn't just your mom or your sister coming to check on you? Positive. Cannot make this up. But it had never happened again.